was not expecting to get an arch rival today, but here we are.
Come on, man!
We're back.
Yes.
For another episode 11, week 7 recap.
Yes, and a treat for the fans today. It was a tradition that was started on the Derek Relaford show. We will be opening tonight football packs. 2 special football packs on the show tonight. So after the news, we'll open the tiny pack, and then the main event will be the 10-card Donruss pack that is either guaranteed a jersey card or an autographed jersey card, which would be fucking amazing.
Hell yes.
All right, so how was the weekend for you, Alex?
Man,
I mean,
it was great. You know, I had a lot of fun. Watched a little football, drank a little whiskey, you know, the good life. How about yourself?
well, I had a lot of football, a lot of food, not very much sleep. My court date was done, which is great, so I don't have to worry about that now for a while. And it's just getting back to the job at hand with all the lovely football that we have to watch for the rest of the season.
Indeed. A lot of stuff's going on this week, though, that people are just getting rid of people left and right and trying to build new teams and right in the middle of the season. I don't understand it, but it's what we got.
Well, right off the bat, we had the Oakland Raiders trading Amari Cooper to the Dallas Cowboys for a 2019 first round pick.
Yeah. So basically,
Now,
the Raiders are going to be the Raiders are going to be picking all of the first round, not really, but pretty much for 2019 draft. I'm for it.
Okay, now my question to you is did the Cowgirls spend too much on this pick?
Oh, probably, but they don't have anybody they can throw to.
Well, according to what I heard earlier on the NFL Network, that a lot of teams only felt Amari Cooper was like a 3rd round pick or worth the 3rd round pick. And Jerry Jones is kind of muscling up, feeling the fact that if he can get enough top flight players before next Tuesday's trade deadline, he'd be able to make a run at winning that garbage NFC East division.
Yeah, right now, Trent, I think it's 5 in the next draft. The next 2 drafts, yeah.
So there are a lot of draft picks flying around everywhere. Other news actually happened as of today. The New York Giants shipped lovely Eli Apple, not the Eli that they were kind of hoping on trading, to the New Orleans Saints for a 2019.
You got me excited for a second.
Well, I was kind of getting excited too because I didn't want to see any more Geritol and adult diapers on the sidelines from the New York Giants. But they traded Eli Apple for a 2019 and a 2020 pick to the New Orleans Saints.
Ah. Oh, that's not bad.
The lowly little Jetropolitans, the green and white little brother of New York, actually signed I believe his name was Rashard Matthews today, formerly of the Tennessee Titans, was released last month for some really god-awful reason. Probably explains why the Titans can't win any games, but that's besides the point. Before Sunday's game, Burfict from the Bengals was fined $112,000 for
Oh.
multiple unsportsmanlike conducts against the Steelers in that lovely little controversial game that they had last week with the illegal pick.
Yeah, that did. So how much again?
112,000. That's almost
Is there
like a full
anything
game
that's
check.
worth 112,000? Really?
Apparently, though, there were multiples, including an unsportsmanlike against Antonio Brown.
Oh well. God bless
So-
Antonio's little heart.
Yeah, well, think of it this way: because of an illegal pick, that game actually went through.
There we go.
The Rashard Matthews signings by the Jets was only created because the Jets cut Terrell Pryor.
Good. Fuck that guy. Fuck that guy. Not
In
a
other
big
news,
fan. Never was a big fan of him, and
I think of him just as a better receiver than I do as a quarterback. That's the only
I
thing I
never
can
got
really
to
see.
experience him as a receiver, or I got to experience as a terrible quarterback.
Some other news, I guarantee you we'll still mention it throughout the games. Blake Bortles was benched in the third quarter of that Texas drubbing that he had on Sunday.
Is it fair to say that they're done? Like they had their outbreak at the beginning of the season, and now they're just gonna hang it up.
To honestly tell you, I really believe that they're just in a funk. I think their heads got too big for themselves. Jalen Ramsey was snorting too much helium at some point and just decided to blow up heads with the helium, thinking that they were God's creations to earth, but they weren't. Bortles is just I don't know what the difference was the beginning of the season till this point, or even that lovely little 3-game slide that they're on now, but it's embarrassing.
They're on a 4-game slide.
Makes it even worse. But to know the fact that he got benched for an absolute dud of a backup quarterback who threw a pick during the game, I kind of think that was it was kind of a wake-up call to him. And they get the early game this week in London. Definitely not a game I'm waking up for because it's the battle of two crap teams that were in the playoffs and did something last year. But we'll talk about that game on Friday because it's the early Sunday game.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the only other news that I have on my docket for tonight is the injury to Sony Michel after the first quarter tackle in the game on Sunday against the Bears. The injury is not deemed serious. Period of time being out is undecided, and no major surgeries are required.
But wait, there's more. Denver Broncos backup quarterback Chad Kelly was charged with first-degree criminal trespass.
That's why he's the backup.
Yes, but he got charged for entering a couple's home in Inglewood, Colorado. And he was taken into custody early Tuesday morning on suspicious of first-degree criminal trespassing. Well, good. Why did he do that?
Well, there's the other there's this other thing that I just recently was just handed across the desk.
Uh-huh.
The whole Derek Carr crying thing against the Seattle Seahawks.
Uh-huh.
Apparently now he's claiming that he was not crying, although his teammates who picked him up off the turf said he was crying. And this is another reason why the Raiders are losing.
I just had grass in my eye, man. No, dude, he wasn't crying. He wears like mascara and shit. I don't know.
No, probably not.
But he does wear something around his eyes instead of like putting all that goo on his face. He just puts it around his eyes so he keeps the light out.
I don't know. But apparently that's another reason why the Raiders are not cohesive on offense. Supposedly.
Man's got a sensitive side?
Yes, because he has a sensitive side, and his poor taint got ran over by the Seattle Seahawks.
That is irrelevant. is irrelevant.
listen, apparently those things happen.
These things happen for people from time to time.
So,
but anyways, yeah. But so we've got a bunch of guys getting traded, one guy getting arrested. So what does that do to this guy's career? You know,
he probably will have. He'll probably be going on to that long laundry list of players who have just uncontrollably destroyed themselves early in their career, aka Josh Gordon, and he may not have a team later on, depending on what the consequences of this whole arrest are going to be. Denver may be looking at another quarterback or their third stringer and just release this little prick. It's possible. Who knows? But we'll find out eventually.
I mean, he walked into somebody's house wasted, sat on their couch while the lady had her baby there, and then the dad hit him upside the head with an aluminum vacuum.
Couldn't be any more damaging than an aluminum vacuum, though, right?
No. He got Dysoned.
Yes. I'm a little scared now to even pick up a Dyson vacuum. Thank you very much.
Oh, yeah, I've got one in the basement. It doesn't work.
All right, so I'm going to pop open this 2015 Prism pack.
Prism? O.J. Simpson in there?
I don't think so. I know it's got Andrew Luck on the outside of the pack, so that should make it even
eventually.
Well, he does look like a Cro-Mag, but that's besides the point. All right, so the first card out of the package, future Hall of Famer, Larry Fitzgerald.
Oh, yeah. Can you see through that, or is it just a foil card?
It is a complete foil card, and it's got a little bit of lift to the card, which is pretty amazing. Not going to lie, this is probably one of the thickest football cards I have ever seen. Next one is a St. Louis Rams, Tavon Austin. Where are the throwback unis?
Okay.
That's pretty kinky.
That's pretty cool.
I'm going to save the bigger card. Oh, there's actually 5 cards in this pack. I don't know why. Oh, this is it's like a freaking get the app card. I don't know why they lied to you, everybody. Another Arizona Cardinal, David Johnson, who, although he's having a terrible year this year, this is pretty much an awesome card.
Yeah.
All of these cards are just amazing with the gloss and the lift on them. So if anybody's interested, this pack only cost me $2, and there's 4 cards in the pack. It's the 2015 edition of Prism, and last but not least, the Rookie Revolution card. Try to read this guy's name. Rashad Perryman. Now, this card is a cutout card.
Oh, that's cool.
It's actually, again, Prism cards are well worth it. They give a lot of definition to the card. And from what I can see here, it does have his autograph on the card.
Legit autograph.
That's what it looks like.
Well, all right.
So, right off the bat, that's a pretty decently sick pick for cards.
What was that, Derek?
This is why we. Bitch. Oh boy. So, right off the bat, 4 really awesome looking cards.
Trinidad said, "Too bad that guy sucks."
Well, you also got to remember, this is also a card from the rookie year of 2015.
Yeah.
So he's had a little seasoning, I would assume, since. Eddie Ocasio watching the show. Oh my God, haven't heard from that bastard forever.
What's going on, buddy?
Haven't heard from him.
He says he's on vacation from work.
About fucking time. He should have called.
Either that or that could also be code for pooping.
Well, that could be true as well. All right, so let's hit up these games.
All right, let's hit up these games.
So right off the bat, we obviously went over the Thursday night game, that travesty of a fucking ass ripping.
With Broncos cards.
Yes, with the Broncos. And you and I, Alex, started off 1-0 for the week, and our producer started off 0-1 because he picked the
hometown team. Well,
so
that doesn't always help.
First game we get is the London game. Now, this game I did not wake up for.
I think
I was probably in like my 46th dream about this time when this game started. Chargers 20, Titans 19. Rookie head coach Mike Vrabel at the end of this game decides to try to go for 2 to win the game with 37 seconds left on the clock. Failed miserably. Chargers run out the clock. Game over.
You gotta go for the extra point, man. If you got 30 seconds left, you go for the extra point. Try an onside.
Well, the other thing with this game is that the Chargers had 3 timeouts left, which is always usually key when you got 30 seconds or 37 seconds. And if a kickoff's going to go out of the end zone, then you're not really going to be concerned with time. So no time comes off that clock right off the bat. Phillip Rivers had an amazing game, in my opinion. It's a Phillip Rivers-like game.
Yeah, those ones where he just pulls it out and just annihilates everybody.
Yes.
Can't ever do that in the off season, or postseason.
But yeah,
he can sure disappoint you.
Right now in the game, Mariota 24 of 32, 237, a touch and a pick. The run game fairly effective for the Titans in this one. They had 100-yard receiver, which again I think goes back to that whole Rashard Matthews being released thing. Rivers only threw the ball for 26 times and 306 yards.
Yeah, that's
very, very efficient.
Extremely.
Otherwise, the highlights for this game, Tyrell Matthews, 4 catches for 118 yards, targeted 4 times, and caught all 4 passes. Pretty effective when you only have a guy going deep every time. Chargers do move to a robust 5-2. The Tennessee Titans drop down to a measly 3-4. There was not, to honestly tell you, the London games are cool and all because the fans overseas get to see the games, which I'm happy with. But I think with a lot of the crybabies in the United States saying that they have to get up at 6:30 in the morning to watch a game because they're on the West Coast, the tutu wearing Nancy people, not diehard, obviously. If they have to get up at 6:30 in the morning, then that's their problem.
Agreed. Now, my thought on the London games is like, okay, well, so we're sending the NFL over there. How about we get some Premier League soccer over here? I don't like waking up to watch at 6 o'clock in the morning to watch that shit either.
Well, actually, from what I understand is there have been with the soccer that we have in the country here,
MLS.
there are occasional trips from
they do
some
friendlies. But I want to see like Manchester United come play, I don't know, Liverpool or something. I want that to happen in the United States.
I don't know. I'm not real. I played soccer when I was younger, and I just don't. I don't even feel it anymore.
It's a lot of fun to watch.
I'd rather pick like dinkleberries in my nose at the same time than stand and watch soccer.
Oh, well, you can sit down and watch it.
It's just not fun anymore. It just is. Yeah, it doesn't really do anything for me.
But yeah, I think London is an issue. Like, I don't really think we see great games over there. This one wasn't bad though. This one wasn't a bad game. It was close. It was a 1-point game, so I guess I can't say that.
All right. What do we have for the next?
Sean says soccer doesn't take off here too. It does. It takes off. It's just not it's just not a lot of people's wheelhouse. Most people that like American football don't like soccer.
Although I probably can get into rugby. but I think that's as far as I would go.
But all right, what do we got next? Man, this blowout here.
Texans Jaguars. Obviously, we said before, Bortles got benched in the third quarter.
Uh-huh.
Had an ultimately horrible performance again. The turnover machine is what we're going to call him from now on. Not very many highlights for the Jaguars in this one, being the fact that they only put up 7 points.
Yep.
And the EP for Pain Train Pipe Bomb picked the Texans because she said the Jaguar was an ugly animal. That was one of her lovely picks this weekend. Deshaun Watson, very calm game, 12 of 24, 139, one score. Lamar Miller, 22 carries, 109, one score. DeAndre Hopkins, 3 catches for 50 yards and a score. All in all, Jacksonville's defense and offense is in mass chaos.
They're in the toilet.
Cody Kessler, 21. Cody Kessler, who is the backup for the lovely Jaguars, 21 of 30, 186, a score and a pick. The lowly depleted Blake Bortles, 6 of 12 for 61 yards.
Jesus. Well, at least he threw for 50%.
Recently signed Jamal Charles, 1 carry, 2 yards.
Jesus.
So
update on the World Series. 5-2 Boston, top of the 8th.
Sweet. It's 5-3, I think.
Well, that's what Eddie Ocasio just said. 5-2.
Because I know the game was, at one point, the game was tied at 3.
Oh, well, there you go.
I was trying to listen to it in the car, and none of the New York stations were playing it.
Because they're all butthurt and bitter.
Well, when you have to deal with the $200 million payroll of the Yankees.
No, it's 5-4 Boston now.
268 home runs, and they can't win a playoff game. Go figure.
Who was released already? Who did we talk about, Trent? Who did he say was Are you talking about Jamal Charles?
Jamal Charles was the recently signed Jaguar, had 1 carry for 2 yards on Sunday.
But Trent's saying he was released already. Or maybe it was Bortles. They're not going to release Bortles.
No. I don't know if they released Jamal Charles, but I'll double check on it and make sure. All in all, the Texans have now won 4 in a row. They are leading their division, all from an 0-3 start.
Go Texans. Anything can happen.
All right,
but
what
Jamal
do you have?
Charles was released.
Oh, that's right. After they traded for Carlos Hyde, probably.
Oh yeah. All right, up next, Carolina. Not a bad game. Not a bad game at all. Carolina versus the Philadelphia Eagles at Philadelphia. Final 21-17 Panthers. Panthers go up to 4-2, and the Philadelphia Eagles are now at 3-4.
Well, the only thing I can say about this, and if I have to hear this from Eagles fans, and you guys can light up my page as much as you like. Yes, you won the Super Bowl last year, but man, this year doesn't even look like you even exist.
Yeah.
Because this team had a 17-0 lead and lost by 4.
Yeah.
Okay? Cam Newton threw for over 200 yards in the fourth quarter. Now, he finished with 269 passing yards, which means entering the fourth quarter, he only had 68 yards passing.
Jesus Christ.
Hello, where did your defense go? I know they lost a player for the year, one of their like unfamous defensive ends. That was another thing that came up recently. I really didn't think that was a big thing of news because I really didn't know who he is. Not out of all of the names that they have on that defense. Cam Newton rushed for also 49 yards and 7 carries.
That guy's a beast, man.
And the receivers that he threw to, Greg Olsen, Bird, Samuel, DJ Moore, Wright, McCaffrey, Torrey Smith, and Devin Funchess. 9 receivers and he came up with 200 yards plus in the fourth quarter. Yeah. Philly gets to play that freaking jaded Jacksonville team on Sunday in London. Carson Wentz, 30 at 30.
Did we lose you?
Valid to say in the running. Zach Ertz did have 9 catches for a $138. Philly's just not.
They're not doing it this year. I'll tell you that.
They're not.
They're doing better than a lot of other teams, but.
Well, the only thing I can really definitely say, and I heard this on the radio tonight in the car, if Philly thinks this is a way for them to not be noticed in the NFL, sadly mistaken. The glass slipper has dropped, shattered. Philly is in a garbage division this year, and this is not a way to show up a Super Bowl win.
No. I mean, at least get to the playoffs, for the love of God.
At this point, they'd be lucky they didn't even shoot for a wild card, but I don't even see that feasible.
No, I you know, there's still plenty of football left. They just have to not lose anymore, and I don't see that happening.
That's like saying the Giants are going to win their next 10 games.
Yeah, well,
I don't see that happening either.
It's not going to happen. That's what it would take to get there. It's not going to happen. So next we've got the Vikings versus the Jets. Final score 37-17 Vikings. They're moved up to 4-2-1, and the Jets are also 3-4.
Now, one of the main cogs in this game was the weather. The winds were whipping at MetLife Stadium, which I'll be afraid for in 5 weeks when I end up going to see Jets Pats. But Darnold has not seen a game in weather like this before. And I don't believe a lot of the quarterbacks that travel to MetLife understand how bad the conditions really can be. So passing the ball with 25 plus mile an hour winds is really going to be a pain in the balls.
Really hard.
Which means you then have to rely on your running game the majority of the day to score points. In this game, just right off the bat, it was Cousins 26 of 40 or 28 of 40, 241, 2 scores. Latavius Murray getting back on the ball again with going into the end zone.
69 yards, 2 scores. Go Tay Train.
Adam Thielen, another 100-yard receiving game. I believe that now makes 7 in a row.
Yeah.
Off game for Stephon Diggs, though, only 8 catches for 33 yards, and he had 14 targets. So, all in all, the pass game was there. It was decently there. Darnold, however, again, like I said, it's very difficult to throw the ball when you throw the ball 42 times and you get picked off 3 times.
Yeah.
And one of those, I believe, was a pick 6 to the house. Jets running game, not really well. Bilal Powell left this game with an injury. And with that lovely release of Terrell Pryor, no receiver had more than 70 yards on the day.
Well, that backfired on him.
A lot of punting in this game, though, for a game that put up 54 points.
On whose side, though? Is the Jets?
If you go to look at the drive summary, Minnesota scored first. Then there was 4 consecutive punts between both teams, a Jet touchdown, 2 more consecutive punts, a field goal, 2 more punts, a turnover, 4 more punts in a row, a missed field goal.
Special teams played the hardest they've ever played Sunday.
I believe, I'm not sure if this might be an NFL record, but there was a ton of punts in this game.
A ton of punts, he says.
Ton of punts. I mean, just for the shits and giggles of the NFL thing here. Punting. 8 punts for the New York Jets. And the Minnesota Vikings. 8 punts as well. So 16 punts in the game.
16 punts in one game.
For a game that put up 54 points.
Jesus. Holy shit. That's just, that's a little excessive.
Excessive? That just means that either both teams' offenses were really, really horrible, or the defenses somehow decided to show up.
Yeah, on both sides.
Yeah. But there was still 54 points scored in the game.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense. At all.
And we are not a winner in the Mega.
Oh, you aren't?
No.
Well, hopefully we
Oh,
are.
well. There's always tomorrow night with the Powerball.
If I'm the winner in the Mega, you'll never hear. You guys won't hear from me for at least like 2 months.
Joy.
Just so I could go incognito. All right, next up, the Pats versus the Bears. Dude, this is a good game.
It was a good game, and I specifically took a bunch of notes in this game because there were a lot of things that were happening, and one of the things was the penalties and the turnovers. Now, one of the key turnovers was the Sony Michel injury. He got twisted in a tackle.
Yeah, I saw that. That was gnarly, man.
And you know what? I give him all credit for reaching for the knee instead of worrying about the ball.
Yeah.
Obviously, your health is a lot more important. Trubisky did not have a great game in this game. The only thing he did was run around like a chicken with flamed head.
But you know what? That helped him. I think that helped him in this game.
That was the only.
I thought
his
he
pass
did
game
very
was horrible.
well.
26 of 50.
Jeez.
Did throw for over 300 yards.
That's not a bad game. Threw 2 touchdowns.
But also had 2 picks.
Well, they can't all be winners.
And
but I mean, I'm saying it's the Bears going against a team that like a year ago was not a relevant team. Now that they're losing by 7 to the Patriots. They've got a 3-3 record. I think they're doing well.
But this is also Brady's 7th career win against the Bears, and he has not lost the game against the Bears. It is the Pats' first home win, road win for the season, which is kind of crucial. They go to 5-2. The Bears go to 3-3, and the Jets get to go to Chicago next week.
I like that. I like the one that the touchdown that Trubisky had to run in. That was nice.
Was that the first one or the second one?
The second one. He rushed for 81 yards.
Even though he was only 16 yards away from the end zone.
Well, just total, Ricky. I'm not talking about that specific play. But he did.
Well, no, on that one, he ran about 70 yards for that touchdown play. I almost had in my head the Benny Hill theme as he was running around on the field, which I thought was just really hilarious.
Just flying left and right. It's like
exactly, almost like everybody was standing in cement when he was running around on the field.
It was definitely interesting, but those 2 turnovers were really crucial for the Bears because they were in such good scoring position, and they capitalized on both of them. But then you know what? After the Trubisky touchdown, Brady or not Brady, but Cordell Patterson, the former Raider, runs one takes one to the house on the kickoff. I mean, it was pretty that was a pretty badass run too.
Well, I do remember a ton of text messages, and it wasn't just from you guys that I was getting texts. Oh, Pats are down 10. They're losing bad. And then Patterson does the kickoff return, and I'm like, you were saying?
Well, see, I didn't know what you were talking about because there's a delay. I was like, what is he talking about, dude? They're still down 10 points. And then all of a sudden, they kick the ball off, and then you just see Patterson just going for it. That was pretty awesome.
But all in all, the Bears were short a yard of tying this game. And it's funny how the game ends, because the player that caught the ball at the end of the game was their number 1 draft pick from 3 years ago and has done crap since then. He's only caught the ball 24 times in 3 years. I understand one of the years he was out for injury, but one of their top draft picks from 3 years ago has not flourished at all.
Yeah, it doesn't always happen when you go from college to the NFL. But anyways, I thought they did a good job. I mean, I thought it was a close game. It was a fun game to watch. Now we got the Colts took it. Jesus. Do we have the Bills on this one?
Let's see here.
I think I took the Bills.
You and Derek both took Buffalo, and I went out wild with Indy.
Well, it looks like wild. How do you score 5 points in a game?
A touchback, a safety, and a field goal.
Yeah.
Well, this was also the first game that Derek Anderson started because they felt that their backup quarterback was garbage, and Rosen was not starting this week. And Rosen, again, is not starting on Monday Night Football, so Derek Anderson is starting again.
Oh, man. Who are they playing?
The Pats on Monday Night Football. Anybody for a lovely trip to Buffalo Wild Wings?
They do have really good wings.
I would just be sitting there saying, holy shit, I'm chewing on a Buffalo player. But that's besides the point in this. Anderson didn't have a bad game. He only threw 3 picks.
Only? Jesus. Luck didn't have a bad game. He went only 3 for 156 yards, but he got 4 touchdowns. So, I mean, that's all that matters.
Yeah, but the other key thing is that there was actually a running game for the Colts.
Yeah.
19 carries, $126. That's a little obscene in my book.
Yeah, he was going crazy on that shit, man. And
as soon as I saw the 5 points, and then I saw that there was double digits on the Colts side, I actually was just waiting for the final of this score. I really was just waiting for the final. I actually, by halftime, saw the score. I went to the book and I had already wrote down the results, to be honest, because I really did not feel Buffalo was even great having a safety.
No. Trinidad says that he read that Brady could throw 1,000 straight interceptions and still have a higher rating than Peterman.
Exactly correct.
Jesus.
And this is why they went out and signed Derek Anderson, because Peterman is just to honestly tell you, I think he should be bagging groceries somewhere.
Okay. I mean, he still played in the NFL.
He threw 6 interceptions in a game last year.
Jesus Christ. Can't get that guy out of here.
That's why I said, go bag some groceries, Peterman.
All right. Cleveland Browns at Tampa Bay. Man, once again, I give Cleveland an A for effort on this one. I thought it was a really good game. But the Bucs ended up pulling it out.
Well, I watched the fourth quarter of this game, and I watched the overtime. And the problem that I had was with this game is both teams weren't trying to find a way to win the game. They were trying to find a way to lose the game.
Very true.
Because even in the fourth quarter, Cleveland has a turnover. Tampa gets the ball at great field position. And the walking turd burglar himself, Jameis Winston, gets sacked not once, but twice.
Walking turd burglar himself. God.
Okay. Right before the game-winning field goal in overtime, the Buccaneers are 3rd and 39. In overtime, they get a good play. Tampa's kicker not only missed an extra point, but the game-winning field goal in regulation.
Yeah.
All shorter field goals, and comes out and kicks a game-winning 59-yard field goal.
59-yard field goal.
And I got to tell you, the perfect meme right now running is Baker Mayfield with his mouth dropped wide open on the sideline. And if anybody gets that for a meme for me, I will make it up and make some really, really sick memes with it because, damn, Mayfield had a decent game.
Yeah.
He's still on that rookie curve. He didn't have any turnovers, which was great.
No.
Nick Chubb ran the ball great, especially now that Carlos Hyde is now in Jacksonville.
So that didn't backfire on him.
It didn't backfire on them, but they said that they were going to get Chubb the ball more.
Yeah.
He rushed for a 4.4 average, which is not bad. But again, it's just the fact that I think that a lot of teams are going to underestimate Cleveland. This is their 4th overtime game for the year. Okay, they lost 2. But nobody would have expected Cleveland to be where they are right now.
No, not at all. No.
Tampa, on the other hand, that's a different story.
Should be doing a whole lot better than I don't know, man. They didn't do anything that impressed me. I thought Cleveland did a pretty good job, but towards the end of that overtime, it was just like, well, does one of you guys want to win this, or can we just all go home?
Because this is one of those games where I'm looking at the actual drive summaries.
Yeah.
And I think there actually might be more punts in this game than there was in the other game. Tampa had 4. And let's see what Cleveland had. Because there was a lot of weird things on the scoring drives. Okay, so there was 9 punts by Cleveland and 4 by Tampa.
Jesus.
13 punts in this game. And this game, again, 49 points was around the under-over that they said. I believe the under-over was 47. But all in all, Cleveland is showing up. They just need to rearrange things a little bit so that their drives are better.
Yeah,
but
make it to where they need to be able to capitalize on their drives a little bit better, and then I think we've got a badass team here.
But Cleveland is showing that they're not a pushover this year. Like I said, they just don't know. They need to figure out a better winning formula.
Next up, we've got the game that I bet on, the Lions versus the Dolphins, and wouldn't you know it, the Lions fucking won it.
Now, I got to tell you, in this game here, Miami did have a little bit of a comeback at the end. They did score in the last 3 quarters of the game, which is kind of effective. However, Detroit scored in all 4 quarters. So Miami just falling off. They're another team in the disarray this year. Stafford didn't break 220 in yardage. But again, the running game is what's key. And my eyes are killing me on this one, but it's 19 carries for 158.
Mm-hmm.
Run game is what Detroit was trying to do at the beginning of the year, and now it's finally running. Takes a lot of pressure off of Matthew Stafford.
Yeah.
No Ryan Tannehill again, although Brock Osweiler played a clean game. Kenyon Drake, 6 carries for 72 yards. But you're that far back, you got to start throwing the ball. And I believe Albert Wilson's going on the IR.
Is he?
Yes, he is. He got hurt. His agent called out Adam Gase, and that was a big clusterfuck down in Miami.
Well, I like the momentum that the Lions have right now, and.
Well, that division, we'll be able to show the standings at the end, but that division is up for grabs.
Yeah.
Because there's not one team playing terribly bad in that division.
So next up we've got Saints and Ravens. Saints did. I went with the Saints. That's right. I did go with the Saints, and because that was the game that would mean Drew Brees has beat every single NFL team. Out there, he's beat every NFL team. And
by the way, Trin has gone to the extra mile and has gotten me the picture of Baker Mayfield with his mouth wide open. This will be meme heaven by Friday. All right, so this game here, coming down to the end of the game, we're not going to paint a bigger picture than this for this game. Justin Tucker is lining up for an extra point. This, again, is just obscene. He's made 222 consecutive extra points. Not missed one for his entire career. And shanked the shit out of it.
You know, it happens, man.
This would have been one of those guaranteed classic overtime games between the two teams. That's all I would have said. But all streaks come to an end. Justin Tucker now has a streak in his underwear, and they lose this game by 1 point.
I think we can give that to Drew Brees. He deserves it.
But the funny thing is that his stats in this game, now none of the stats in this game for the Saints are really eye-opening.
No.
Right off the bat. Brees only throws for 212. Did throw his 500th career touchdown in this game. That still has him fourth all-time on the list. No turnovers. Great. But again, there is no real gaudy stats.
Yeah, but you don't need that. You don't need the gaudy stats. I mean, they're fun and all, but he went in there, did what he had to do, played a clean game, and ended up, got his 500th career touchdown, and he's beat every team. So he's breaking some records this year.
And it's funny, though, because if you look at Joe Flacco's numbers, he kind of outshined Brees in a way. I mean, he did throw the ball a few more times than Brees, but threw for 280 and 2 scores. Overall, it was a great game, but to lose the game by a single point like that, it's like being freaking dick punched.
Yeah.
And it dropped the Ravens down to 4-3. The Saints are leading the division at 5-1. All in all, I got to tell you, there were a lot of close games this weekend. There was a few blowouts, but I believe this was probably one of the best games of the weekend.
It wasn't a bad one. I enjoyed it. And I was trying to turn in back and forth between this and the Sporting Kansas City game, but which they won. But next we got up the Cowgirls losing to the Redskins. I think I had the Cowboys on this one.
Yes, you did.
Damn it. I should never bet on that fucking team.
Well, all right. Obviously, now we know that they'll have an actual legitimate number one receiver this coming weekend.
Yeah.
This game here, Dallas did fight back in this game. The problem with this is that the referees need to get their eyes checked. Thicker glasses, maybe they need to get binoculars or something, because the penalty at the end of the game was extremely obscene. If you have a long snapper who's the longest tenured player on the Dallas Cowboys, okay, do the same movement every pre-snap for a field goal kick, and then you call a penalty on him, pushing it back 5 yards, that kick is made. That kick would have gone through at 47.
Yeah. So what did he do? He set the ball weird?
it's not this the way he sets the ball. There's a way that he grips the ball and he positions the ball into like that pre-snap position.
Uh-huh.
Okay? If you watch the following kick after they call the BS call on the freaking center,
He does the same
he
thing.
does the exact same thing. Now, a lot of Cowboys fans are up in arms. Oh, this was a way to dick over the Cowboys, whatever. If that's what you want to say, fine. But Dallas, if they were that good, should have never have been down that much to not tie this game. Take your freaking man balls out of Jerry Jones's lady purse, put them back in, and play as an NFL player.
Take your man balls out of Jerry Jones's lady purse.
Okay? Now, another key thing to this game was the fact that the training staff, after a concussion protocol earlier in the game, kept giving Dak Prescott smelling salts throughout the game to get him through the game.
Oh, cool. So he's playing hurt.
He was supposedly probably playing with the concussion.
Oh, that's healthy.
And it's kind of idiotic that you're going to keep giving a player smelling salts to get through a game, which is bullshit.
Yeah.
If he got hurt, bring your rinky-dink freaking corny-ass fucking backup quarterback in the game and let him fucking play. The guy's going to be a cripple by the age of 40.
Yeah. Bad stuff. That's just uncalled for. That's unneeded. All right, next game we don't need to spend too much time on here.
By the way, this is the game that I took the points and I still got royally ass raped.
Rams versus the 49ers, 39-10. LA Rams. Rams go to 7-0. They're still the only undefeated team.
They're going to steamroll a lot of teams. They really, really are. There's no excuses for anything. This time, the defense actually stepped up. There was another special teams blocked punt in this game, which I believe that was the first time that they had multiple blocked punts in 1 week in the games, because there was one in the Pats game and there was one in the Rams game.
Yeah.
The Rams just dominated on all facets of the game. That's the only thing
there was no question. I think the 10 points was just a consolation prize.
Well, believe it or not, the line went up to 11 on Sunday, and I was kind of glad that it did, because I thought I was going to really have a better outlook from the 49ers, and they just screwed the pooch. So you don't even go that far anymore.
Oh, all right. Well, then next game, same. The 6-1 Chiefs versus the 4-3 Bengals. There was no. I had the Bengals. No, I didn't have the Bengals. I went with the Chiefs on that one. That would have been
all three of us went with the KC Chiefs on this one.
Yeah. Chiefs. Mahomes did it again. 358 yards, 4 touchdowns. Kareem Hunt rushed for 86 yards, 1 touchdown. Kelsey is the best. He had the best receiving, the top receiver, but he did not score. But he had 95 yards.
When you got that freaking cheetah running around on the field, there's just no doubt about it.
Travis Kelsey's just a yard game. That's all he is. Like that's just to get yards.
Well, there was a funny stat going into this game, and this had to go, unfortunately, with the Bengals quarterback Andy Dalton. And if you notice, he really didn't even finish this whole game. Andy Dalton's career with scoring 2 touchdowns or less was a robust 45, 45, and 2. When throwing 3 touchdowns or more, he only had 1 career loss. So now he is now at 45, 46, and 2, I believe. That's some great winning record.
Indeed.
But I got to tell you, though, I did turn this game off before we did TDRS on Sunday, because this game was pretty much over in the third quarter.
Yeah. I mean, yeah,
I
who
I,
cares?
I,
Like,
I really thought maybe Cincinnati would have put up a little bit of a better fight later on, but it
no,
just didn't happen.
no, not at all. All right. Do you want to bust your second pack before we go through the Monday Night Football game, or
Yeah,
before we go through before Thursday Night Football?
I think we should do it right before Thursday Night
All
Football.
right,
And
we'll
here
do
comes
that.
another Giants rant.
Here we go.
Okay, here is another Giants rant. Now, obviously, this score is not anything close to the real feeling of this Monday night game. There were 3 throw-up buckets in my range while watching this game Monday night. Okay? 3 of them. First one was for the Giants defense. Okay? I have never seen a secondary run around like a bunch of crazed kindergarten children in my life. Players running into each other, leaving guys with 5-yard gaps for catches. Okay, your only achievement for this game was that Julio Jones did not score again. Crowning
Still
achievement.
didn't get one.
Okay?
Oh man, I think I went for the Giants on this one too. Jesus,
Yes, you did.
that was stupid.
Okay? Now, let's break down the Giants offense here. Okay?
All right.
Mr. Eli, I've not had enough Geritol Manning. His crazy bunch of wide receivers. You got your second-year tight end back, and you can't score points. The Falcons' defense is almost in the bottom half of the entire league in almost every category known to man. Even probably taking one in the mouth, they're probably down at the bottom of the list. And you couldn't score any points. I want to see the Giants back up in like the worst way. Because I have a feeling he would have a ton better day than Eli Manning. Your season is over. You are now 1-6. Just pack up the truck now. Maybe we should turn the Giants into the Jets and just put it as just end the season.
Yeah, it was bad. It was. I mean, the score doesn't. The score doesn't show it, but it just. I don't know.
But when you go into a game where a team, first off, is last in third down stops, last in red zone stops, the Falcons give up a lot of points.
Yeah.
Going into this game, the Falcons were averaging over 30-plus points per game given up. And the Giants, up till that last garbage play in the fourth quarter, had only put up 12 points. Talk about a team in disarray.
Agreed. Well,
It's a completely obscene season for the Giants. They're going to start to unload their players. Maybe Eli Manning will get traded to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Maybe they said he should have in the beginning of the year, and that's it.
they're going to take him, send him to Jacksonville.
Well, think of it this way: he wouldn't be changing his diaper all the time if he was in Jacksonville, because at least Jacksonville has a better offensive line.
That's true. I mean, he didn't throw bad. I mean, he threw for almost 400 yards,
but only 1 touchdown.
That is very true. You can't win a game if you throw for 400 yards and only get 1 touchdown. Just not going to happen. But
and I've had to hear all week that Matt Ryan is clutch. Matt Ryan should be in a toaster. Because he cannot come up big in the fourth quarter when he's needed.
All right, well, before you bust out that pack, let's go look at standings right now.
And there are a lot of crucial games coming up this weekend that will really pretty much set the standard for what the rest of the second half of the season is going to be, because we're already going into week 8.
All right, AFC East. The Pats are up at the top, of course. Then the Dolphins, the Jets, and the Bills. Figured the Bills would be at the bottom of that one. AFC North, you got the Steelers right on top with 3-2. Good Lord. That's not
now
a great
you know how
division.
bad that well, Pittsburgh also had the week off last week.
That's true. Pittsburgh, then Cincinnati, then Baltimore, and Cleveland bringing up the rear. AFC South would be Houston Texans, Tennessee Titans with 3, Jacksonville with 3, and then the Colts at the bottom. AFC West, Kansas City, then the Chargers, then the Broncos, and the Raiders. God damn it. NFC East. That is a dirtbag division. Jesus.
That is probably now
Redskins
the worst division in
at 4
football.
and 2. Then you got the Eagles, then the Cowboys, and then the Giants at the bottom. Vikings or NFC North. You got Vikings, Packers, the Lions, and then the Lions and the Bears are tied for 3rd.
And I don't think they've played each other yet this year.
No. NFC South, you got the Saints up on top. Then the Panthers, the Bucks, and the Falcons. And then the NFC West, the only undefeated team in the NFL as of right now, LA Rams, Seattle Seahawks, then the Seattle Seahawks, then the Cards, then the fucking 49ers. Jesus Christ, well, the NFC, or the Rams might as well just pack it up and get ready for the playoffs.
I think that's exactly what they're doing, though. But I still feel in the NFC, they've got some tough games coming up. They're going to have a game against Kansas City and Mexico. That will be probably the game of the year.
Who's that?
It's going to be Rams and Kansas City Chiefs
in Mexico City, yeah.
I think that's going to be like a game of the year type thing.
I believe so. I have a feeling Super Bowl predictions. I have a feeling that that the Pats are going to go. I think it's going to be Pats Rams. Just because of Kansas City's history. That's just
that's always usually a problem.
Yeah, I mean their history repeats itself every year. So, all right, man, get to busting that pack.
Okay, so the pack is open.
Pack is open. Now this is
I used a scissor. This is the
scissor.
2018 Donruss. You get 10 cards in the pack with a chance at either a jersey, an autographed jersey, or an autograph. Right off the bat, we have Super Bowl champ Nelson Aguilar. Not a bad-looking card.
Not at all.
Actually pretty decent. A card that's going to be worth probably a ton of money. Recently, 500 career touchdown and is now the all-time passing leader in the NFL, Drew Brees.
Ooh, that's a nice one.
This card probably has already just paid off the pack. Mr. I have no touchdowns in the year of 2018, Julio Jones.
That's a coaster.
Yeah, well, I don't know. He was the first player to have 5,000 yards in 58 games, I believe it was, and then after last night, he's now second on the list. Mr. I haven't seen the field yet this year, Daniel Sorensen. He'll be back soon eventually, from what I heard the other night. Deion Buchanan. It's not a bad card.
For the Cardinals?
Chicago. Yeah, for the Cardinals.
Oh, okay.
Chicago Bears. Cameron Meredith. Our producer is going to probably want that card. I'm going to skip this team leaders card. We
is it a
have on
coach?
here.
I hated the coach ones.
Actually, it's not a coach.
What is
Believe
it?
it or not. It's
Cheerleader?
AJ Green.
Oh.
Kind of like a foil card, which is actually pretty cool. This is probably another one that's going to be some cash. We have Dalton Schultz.
Who?
Never heard of him.
Yeah.
Legends of the Fall, Chris Carter.
Dang. That's a cool
Now
one.
that's a sick card. That's old school.
Mm-hmm.
And finally, Mr. 188-yard rusher this past weekend, Kerryon Johnson.
That's a cool card. So you didn't get one. You didn't get a jersey card then.
No jersey card, but there are quite a few cards in this deck that will be worth money, like that Drew Brees card.
Oh yeah.
Especially since now he has the 500 touchdowns and is the NFL all-time passing leader.
There you go. And that.
So not a bad selection for $7.
Not a bad one at all.
But we also will have the other two on Friday.
Other two on Friday. I might try to get some too.
All right. Let's get to Thursday night football.
All right. Let's go to Thursday night football. We've got the 4-3 Dolphins versus the 4-3 Houston Texans.
I'm actually pulling up the Vegas odds now.
All right.
Because that's how we roll on this show.
That's how we roll.
And our producer is nowhere to be found right now, so he'll probably be giving
I think
us
he's been back here. He's been back there. I've been hearing him like every time we say something about the Bears, I hear a little "fuck you" in my ear.
You ain't shit.
See,
that's a great fucking sound effect as it is. All right, so Thursday night football, 10:25 is the date. Miami, Houston, 45.5 under over. We push it up to 46 because that's how they do it in the betting odds. Houston is spotting the Miami Dolphins 7.5.
Trent already says Texans by 10.
I don't know.
Man, I'm gonna have to go. I think I'm gonna have to go Texans on this one.
Really, by like 10.5 though? Do you think?
I don't know by 10, but I'm just gonna say the Texans win. I don't get into that odds shit or the over under or scores. I just know that the Texans will win this game. Even if they win it by 2, they will win this game.
I'm going Dolphins.
Huh.
Well, I can't go anything until I get the pen to start writing. Get another pen. Okay, Houston.
That pen is brought to you by Julio Jones.
Yes, because he can't score either. And apparently neither can I. All right. I got to say the Texans are on a roll right now. Defense is pumped. That front three with Clowney and Watt. I'm going to probably go Texans as well. I really want to see Tannehill back, but that injury to his throwing shoulder, and there has not been a word about him the entire weekend nor today. So with Osweiler back there against his former team, I'm taking the Houston Texans.
Yep, I agree with that. Trin agrees with that as well. Derek is going with the big fish.
Squish the fish.
Squish the fish.
Which is funny because that came back from the Miami Dolphins in the World Series a few years ago. And it carried over to football.
You mean the Florida Marlins?
Yes, that's when it was. They were saying squish the fish when it was Cleveland versus Miami. Or the Florida Marlins or whatever. So.
Oh, they've already named Osweiler the starter, so I don't know if.
Well, Osweiler's 1-1 as a starter this year.
Yeah.
So that it's not bad. He hasn't had any turnovers, which is kind of great. But Texans defense, man. We kind of had them pegged for dead in the beginning of the year because they weren't really doing anything. Then they started playing the Giants, and it kind of kicked off for them, even though they lost that game. But that defense started picking up real big.
Indeed, it did, and they have been doing extremely well. So yeah. So we've got 3 for the Texans, 1 for the Dolphins, and that is basically it then, I guess. I mean, I don't have anything. What do we got? We've got more TDRS coming up tomorrow night. Thursday night, we've got Pain Train Pipe Bomb, and then we'll be back here Friday. Oh, Thursday we have Pain Train Pipe Bomb, Savage Thoughts, and TDRS. Just a whole primetime Thursdays, let me tell you guys. And then we'll be back here on Friday to go with our picks of the game, what we think is going to happen next week. We'll do a little recap of the Thursday night game, and Ricky will be busting more packs.
And a big shout out to the guys at Hot Corner Collectibles who actually helped me look for these packs because I did some research on what packs I wanted to get. And they helped me out. They have a really great eBay store. If you want to get some really, really cool autographed jerseys, cards, they are putting a ton of them up on eBay. They sell baseball, they sell football, they sell hockey, they sell basketball, and their memorabilia is insane. So you get the chance, check them out. Hot Corner. You can find them. They're a store in Brooklyn, but they ship everywhere. And their prices are extremely reasonable.
Extremely.
So shout out to the guys at Hot Corner.
All right. Trent says he'll call on Friday. We'll look forward to that. But as of now, guys, you guys have a good week. Try to stay out of trouble.
Stay up! Oh my God! Touchdown!
Well, I was not expecting to get an arch rival today, but here we are.
Come on, man!